What's up, nail geeks, and welcome to a new Pahlish video. This time we have her Halloween collection, and it is a good one. It's a big one, and it's fantastic. This did release last week for her last initial launch of this collection. However, with Pahlish's releases, she does have a new collection, and then they will be on pre-order initially on Sundays at 7 Central, and then thereafter on the Sundays for restocks, they will come back. So these will be available until our spooky season is over. And yeah, they're fantastic. So if you're wanting to see some more swatches and all that good stuff, hello, I'm right here. So without further ado, let's dive right in. First up is Big Leaf Energy. This is described as a coppery red packed with pink to copper to green iridescent flakes. So we have true jelly formula here, and for opacity, I'm going to suggest 2 to 3 coats, depending on the length of your free edge. It is going to have obviously more of a deeper, richer impact on that base color and more of a strong, flaky appearance if you go up to 3 coats. But as you can see on that second coat, I thought it also gave this softer, more lighter base color than going up to 3 coats. So definitely your preference on that. It does dry down a touch on the thirsty side because this is packed full of flakes. So I would suggest a good, thicker, glossy top coat, though I don't think it's as thirsty that you would need a glitter smoothing top coat with it. I thought just a thicker top coat is just perfect just the way it was. And next up is Deja Boo. This is described as a bright coral with holographic flakes and red to copper microflake shimmer. So I know the description says coral, and when I build it up here in a second, you're going to see kind of where I'm slightly debating on that. Now, I do know that, at least in my experience, the color coral means something different to a lot of people. I just the way I see it. I think some people determine it as this neon pinky orange, more of a reddish pinky orange, something of that nature. But I do think the video on my full hand shot here is giving you a really good representation of what I'm seeing in person. So I do think it has an orange lean to it, but I also think there's a true pinky lean to it. It's just the shimmer is kind of mixing things up. And next is Witchful Thinking. This is a neon violet with holographic flakes and bright pink to copper shimmer. This is one of my top picks in the set. I so love these types of pinks against my skin tone. Medium to deep skin, this is going to pop so ridiculously well on you. Honestly, I think it's going to pop on anybody. It's just such a delicate, flattering type of lavender leaning pink. 3 coats is perfect, as it does have a lighter type of curly, almost cream-like formula, but I do think it's lighter with the idea to make the shimmer pop more, so I'm very thankful for that. It does dry down flat because, again, shimmer just popping ridiculously well, and it has this lovely scattered sparkle from the flakes. And here is Witch and Famous. This is an indigo base with holographic flakes and a mix of pink and blue microflake shimmer. So when you build this up, it's going to look like a micro glitter in my opinion, which is really interesting because the description I'm seeing here is microflake shimmer and hollow flakes. So I don't see that, but I think it gives this really good like faux-like micro glitter look. It has this really fine particled sparkle to it, so I think that's where it's coming from. And it's got that nice starry sky sort of appearance. Now it does have a lighter, flat type of formula to it, so I think 3 coats is perfect. And finish with a thicker, glossy top coat, a really plumping one to finish this one off because it does have that very flat, chrome, kind of metallic-like dry down to it. And next is Romeo and Ghouliet. This is a hot pink packed with aqua to blue to violet iridescent flakes. So this is an absolute flaky bomb. If you appreciate Pahlish's super iridescent flaky finishes, then this one's going to be up your alley. I think the video for a hot pink like this is coming off pretty color accurate to what I'm seeing here in front of me. I think 3 coats is perfect. It dried down very quickly, which I'm going to assume is the neon pigment here, and it just built really, really well. So no issues with any kind of over buildup or any dragging from the flakes, even though that they're very much on the larger size to give you that strong iridescent mylar look. So I would suggest a thin coat of a glitter smoother with your glossy top coat though, because this one does have quite a bit of a texture sort of thing because of the flakes. And here is Goblin Mode. This is a deep forest green with red copper green microflake shimmer. So this has a rich jelly formula to it. And for opacity, I'm going to suggest going up to 3 coats. And that's to say that Those of you rocking nubbins, you might be able to get away with 2 coats, as you can see here, but I just think that 3rd coat really maximizes that base color and your shimmer payoff. Indoor lights, you're gonna see this really gorgeous coppery orange-like cast, and at shaded lights and kind of at angles, you'll see that really nice glow come out to play too. You'll see it here in just a moment on my macro shot, what I'm talking about with the color roll. It does dry down quite flat though, so you'll wanna use a good glossy top coat, once again, to finish off on this one. Of course, anything with super special effects like flakes or shimmers, yes, you should use something thicker to top it. And next up is Lazy Bones. This is a neon cyan packed with pink to copper to green iridescent flakes. So the sibling to Romeo and Ghouliet, this is a lovely base color. I really would like to see some more colors with this. I just fell in love with that color, and the flakes popped so well. I think a Skittle Manny with this one and Romeo and Ghouliet would look awesome. I think 3 coats is perfect for opacity. It is a softer type of shade, so if you have a very prominent free edge and that bugs you, you might want to finish with a color correcting base coat of some type, or like a nude to you type of base, just to cover that up if that does have an issue with you. And here is Creep It Real, my top pick in the set, no surprise there, described as a blackened violet with dense blue to violet microflake shimmer. So the official description says it's a blackened violet, and I can definitely see that on that first coat there, but as you build it up, the shimmer just takes over, and it's a jewel toned, very glowy type of sapphire blue at angles. And if you're looking at it at a certain way, you're going to see this nice, lovely violet sort of very light type of color roll to it. It's just overly glowy, and that little bit of a purpley sort of shift is subtle, but it's definitely kind of making it give this more glowy-like appearance. This also dries down flat, so I'm going to suggest a glossy top coat and 3 coats. And here we've got Ghouls Night Out. This is described as a neon violet packed with iridescent pink, copper green, iridescent flakes. So another sibling to the Romeo and Ghouliet and Lazy Bones. This is another flaky bomb. 3 coats is perfect. It's also got that quick dry down, I'm assuming because of the neon pigment, once again. So no issues with over buildup or needing to not overwork it, anything like that, which I think is pretty impressive given how loaded up with flakes all 3 of them are in this set. So again, finish with a good glossy top coat and a glitter smoother, just a thin coat, to kind of even this one out because you're working with so many flakes here. And this is one of those neon violets that are just so ridiculously flattering. I can see it popping on anyone. And last but not least, we've got Best Fiends, another one of my top picks in the set. This is a hot pink packed with aqua to green to violet shimmer. So we have a Crelly formula, and if you're familiar with Pahlish's typical Crelly-like formulas, then this is going to be very familiar to you. It's got that very harsh type of dry down to it. You can see that in between my coats, sort of, and it dries quickly. So that's really easy and very user-friendly in my opinion. I think 3 normal coats, there's no need to be careful on this one. I had no issues, even with the streaking there, and it was fantastic. And this is such a popping, super shimmery color, and even though it's warm because of the overall shimmer effect, I still thought it was ridiculously flattering on myself. And up next, we've got the Willet Topper segment. This is where I demonstrate polishes over a black swatch stick to see if they're capable of layering and having different ways to wear the polishes. So spoiler alert, all of these looked fantastic because we've got flaky bombs and we've got, shimmer packed goodness going on here. So Big Leaf Energy kind of leads the way there. Looks really awesome. Deja Boo, we're seeing more of this coral base that was in the official description there because of the shimmer. Witchful Thinking looked bomb. I loved it. I think this looked like its own type of polish by itself. It looks fantastic. And I could see this looking great over anything. Witch and Famous demonstrates how it looks as a faux micro glitter finish. I think you can get a good idea of that over black here because it scattered it out. And yeah, that's not glitter. Romeo and Ghouliet looked beautiful. I think the flakes heavily leaned towards this mermaid sort of mosaic, and all 3 flakes, or 4 I should say, looked amazing. Goblin Mode went very vampy, and it gives this strong type of reddish cast, which was really interesting. I thought this one also looked really neat. And Lazy Bones also popped well, just like the other flake. We've got a strong multi-chrome effect going on here, so I think you could really play up against any of the base colors you could possibly wear with the flakes. Creepin' It Real was just wonderful, very reminiscent of some of the other Pahlish blue shimmers that we've seen, and I think it toppered just so good. Ghouls Night Out, of course. Now this one in person, you can't really see it on the video, but it did retain some of that neon pink cast to it. So really interesting, and I think it made the flakes look like it has a different color roll. And Best Fiends looks beautiful, no surprise there. This type of shimmer is just so popping, and I can see this playing up well over really anything. And then finally we have the family shot here. This is everyone all dragged down, a little bit of a wiggle so you can see any texture or anything like that. So again, these are going to be consistently restocked on Pahlish's Stocking Sundays. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm going to call it that. Pahlish's Stocking Sundays at 7 p.m. Central Time. I will link you guys below to Pahlish's website if you want to check them out and any other additional goodies that are in there, as well as the Facebook fan group if you haven't already joined that. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.